Hi guys, I'm Chris,
And I'm Mike.
and welcome back to this week's No Limits, a Mitrap podcast.
So, Chris, how about you tell us where you're recording from over there? I could see you on video.
All right, so if anyone hears like weird sounds or a car engine, that's because I'm recording inside my mother-in-law's Suburban. We had to make a trip up here to PA to my in-laws, and it's really loud in the house with all of Caroline's sisters and my kids, and so yeah, I'm podcasting from inside a car. Maybe the acoustics should sound better on this one. Maybe I found my new podcast hub.
You get nice soft fabric. That's going to eat up, some echo and reverb.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the audio turns out. But yeah, I'm podcasting inside of a car.
We should make that the mobile podcast command center. Just ride around the Suburban, recording Mitrap Pod.
Whoever's not driving can drink the beers, and yeah, mobile. We could even bring some fans in the back. This thing is huge, so.
Well, I don't know about that. Do a live show.
Do a live show
in person
in the suburb. Yeah.
Any patrons who want to increase their giving amount can hop on in the Suburban. Oh man,
things we do for the pod.
That's
we do for
it.
the pod, man.
You want to hear something else that's pretty funny?
Always.
So last week, we picked our Consent to Kill autographed book giveaway. And the winner, as I read on air, was Lee S. Bergsley. Well, Lee indeed was the name of the winner. However, he's from Leesburg, Virginia. So his handle is Leesburg Lee. And I proceeded to call him Lee S. Bergley, thinking S was a middle name and Bergley was a last name. So I butchered that one.
When you said his name last week, when I re-listened to the pods whenever they come out on Monday, and you had told me that, in between our recording and the pod coming out, that, wait, this guy's name is actually Leesburg Lee. And then I listened to the pod, and I was like, once you said it, oh, that makes sense. But in the moment, it Lee S. Berg sound great,
Lee S. Bergley. I mean, that's his spy name, maybe. It's his alias.
There you
That's
go.
his Mitch Cruz.
His Mitch Cruz. What a non-secret name, secret name. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's our comedy hour for the intro here. We'll get to some serious business.
Yes,
and since I brought up our giveaway, we have another February giveaway, and we're going back to this one being patrons only. So if you would like to get involved, help support the podcast financially, give a little donation, it will go a long way, and you will also get your name entered into a giveaway for your choice autographed book, either Pursuit of Honor, The Survivor, Executive Power, or Extreme Measures.
Not only will you get entered into our giveaway, but you'll get some sweet Mitrap Pod stickers, Rap Reading bookmark, also a 25% off coupon code to our Teespring store for Mitrap Pod t-shirts. Those t-shirts are hot. I wore mine yesterday. It's very comfortable. So yeah, sign on up and you get all those things.
All right, Chris, one other thing our patrons help out with. Can you guess what the number 93 refers to?
No idea.
No guesses?
The number.
It's not my lucky number.
The number of subscribers we got on our email list?
No, but that's probably pretty close. But I was going with Vince Flynn paperbacks that we have donated to the troops.
Oh, very nice.
We have sent, thanks to the funding of our patrons, 93 thriller and Mitrap books to active duty troops and veterans hospitals, both abroad and in the U.S. And we're real happy that our military families and folks can enjoy those books. And hopefully we've got some bases around the world, distributing those books out right now. Each month, we are going to commit to sending out care packages. I just put 2 care packages of 10 rap books each in the mail for February, and we're going to do that each month while we're running the podcast, thanks to our patrons.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. we have a little bit of a listener shout out. Last pod, we presented our rankings of the books and our superlatives. And so we heard back from a few of you, and I'm going to read out one here where Mark Harris, you can find him on Twitter at @Mark_Harris3. He's been following and interacting with us from the very beginning. So after that episode, he posted his rankings. And so, you want to hear what they are?
Sure, yeah. I think they matched up pretty close to what one of us said.
They're pretty close
to mine, I think. Or yours.
Yeah. So he has Memorial Day, Consent to Kill, Transfer of Power, Lethal Agent, and then Total Power. So I think that's almost my exact top 5.
I think his Transfer of Power is higher than you had, though.
Oh, yeah, no, he has Transfer of Power a little higher. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Although I had Transfer of Power second, so he's got it in third. Pretty close to me.
Yeah. No, that's
he
that's
liked
great.
Total Power, made the top 5.
I know him. Total Power made just like me. Yeah.
You know what was cool about Mark? I mean, he's what you call a super fan. Been listening and following us from the beginning. Since this was also a big week for Brad Thor, Mark posted his rankings of all the Brad Thor Scott Harvath books, and that's got to be tough to do.
That's really tough. That's really tough.
We like our Scott Harvath here, so 2022, not too far away. Feeling the season 2 of the podcast, but
it's coming up.
That's down the road, man. Remains to be seen.
That's what I want to do.
His top 3, Harvath. I know you're a big fan. State of the Union, Backlash were top 2, and I was surprised he didn't have Lions of Lucerne until spot 6.
Wow.
What do you think?
Wow. I mean, I think I agree with
State of the Union.
I like State of the Union and Backlash.
Backlash was good.
Was really good.
Yeah.
I don't think I obviously, like, we're not in that mindset yet, and I until I reread them and really, like, think about them, I don't know. But I remember Lions of Lucerne just being so good.
Oh yeah,
especially for a first book, for the first installment into the series. Like Lions of Lucerne was dead on. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what he had for 3, 4, and 5 above it.
Yeah, he had the whole list posted. So follow Mark.
I gotta go check that out.
Social media, yeah. Well, like I said, it's been a big week for Brad Thor. You know what we just got today, as of recording? The cover of Black Ice. We got the title announcement maybe a week ago. Harvath 20 is going to be Black Ice, and the cover came out today. It's pretty sweet. Did you take a look at that?
It is. Obviously, if you're a listener to the pod, we love our covers here. We're very critical about them. This cover is so crisp and clean.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I was texting you about this earlier about, I think the Brad Thor covers are just, I don't know, at least whatever second iteration that have been around since I've started reading them, or second or third, whatever. It's been like a pretty consistent line of like just this very crisp cleanness. I don't know how to describe it besides, those two words. And I really enjoyed this cover. It's sort of like very dark. You have the ice and obviously blackness into night, relating the theme. So
I like the stars. I mean, the blue, like ice blue background, you could see constellations and the stars, and that's pretty cool. These rocky mountains, covered in ice, like it fits. It's perfect.
Yes.
It's beautiful. So I guess one last thing before we get into today's Mitch Rap Pod episode. Chris and I are going to record a patron-only Rap on Rap podcast. As our patrons will know, we run a every so often special 15-minute recording on various topics. Well, today we are going to guess at the Rap 20 cover. We are going to talk about things we want to see in the Rap 20 cover, how we think it could compare to being as slick and nice as that Brad Thor cover, and even the last few Kyle covers have been really awesome. So we're going to give a little prediction there on what we're hoping for Rap 20 in our Rap on Rap series. But what does that leave us for today on the rest of this episode?
Well, before we get to the cover, we need to talk about the title.
Yes.
Rap 20, man.
It's
So
here.
last week on the pod, we sort of started recording, this whole long intro inside our intro bit about this track down the title to Rap 20. And as we're like thinking about it, talking about it, discussing it, we were like, this whole thing is going to be, I don't know, we could talk 30, 40 minutes about just the title reveal and the plot reveal. Yeah. So let's save it. And we cut it. We trimmed down that part last week. We just referenced the game as well as the 4 clues that were given. And so today we wanted to take the opportunity. It's now been a week, roughly a week since the last clue was given. If you're listening to this podcast, you've definitely seen the title by now, and you've been to that page where they discuss the plot. So now we wanted to talk about it, or just give our first reactions, and also talk about the game, because I thought this was a great way to engage the fans, engage us, and track down this title. And also, when we were recording last week, we were breaking down like what this actual contest was, and in our minds, we didn't really understand the rules. Maybe it's because we didn't listen properly. I don't know. Most likely, it's because we didn't listen properly. You're a teacher, but you should listen to directions.
Overthinking it.
I'm a scientist. I just started to think to myself, yeah, we were overanalyzing. That's what it was. But anyway,
in the end, major shout out to the entire team. Like, that was fun. Involved the fans. It had me going where, I'll be honest, as we talk through it today, we got the clue the last, and then they added the last lethal. I was like, what the heck could that possibly be? It didn't sound too right. It didn't come off the tongue very easily. And I was kind of like, I don't know about this. And then boom, they dropped the 4th and final clue, had a little twist. And, the final decision of the title was so different than the words in the game. They really were just keywords to put you on a hunt. And eventually you uncovered it.
Because I think myself, and maybe I influenced you once I told you this, I thought that we were going to be tracking down the actual title.
Title, yeah.
And it's similar to the game that we played with our fans, I don't know, a couple months ago, where we were like, you have to pick the title for Rap 20 using only the words from previous rap titles, which is, very similar to the game. And, we had a bunch of our fans submit some pretty cool titles. But then as it's going along, I was like, what is the last,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess let's just get into the questions.
Let's go over them real quick. Yeah.
All right. So, what novel did Rap eat pizza and drink Coke while visiting his dilapidated and exploded home that he used to share with Anna? And so the first word from that book is your key word, and that was The Survivor, where he, after the last man, comes back and visited this house.
Let me ask you, Chris. Did you remember that? Because immediately my mind went to, okay, it must be active treason or protect, like the ones that come sequentially or chronologically right there. And then my mind, I'm like, wait, he doesn't do that there. And so I was it took me a few seconds to think about it. I was like, why was it so later that we get that scene of him returning? I'm going to have to dig into that because I kind of forgot it.
Yeah, you're right. At first, I was like, well, it has to be something that's immediately after, obviously we just did Consent to Kill. So I was like, oh, it has to be coming up. Then I was thinking about it, and I was thinking more intuitively about what the plots of the next couple books of, and I was like, I don't remember that.
It doesn't fit, yeah.
And then, so The Survivor is Kyle's first book. And maybe it was like a way to, what I was thinking was, maybe it was a way to like pay homage to Vince's previous work and like touch back on this huge, very important event that was part of the series of the Flynn series. And that scene now stands out to me now that I think about it. And I went back and I reread that chapter after reading this question or seeing this question. So yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is that maybe Kyle was trying to pay, some sort of homage by having Rap visit something that was so integral to, the Flynn plot lines.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And, in the same way or in the same vein, another continuity harkening back to Consent to Kill was that the Last Man and Survivor duo revive Louis Gould. And so
Right.
it would make sense then, with Louis being back in the picture for a short time, to go back to that scene
That time.
in Consent to Kill. Exactly. So that's another connection. So,
Yeah, and I think
smart clue.
I think Kyle mentioned in his interview with us that he wanted to sort of close that storyline, and that's why he brought back that Louis. What he did with Louis Gould. That's why he wanted to do. So,
yeah. And in his words, he realized he can kill him off.
Exactly. All right. So, what was the second clue?
Second clue: what rap book shares a title with one written by the author of Frankenstein? And so that, of course, was Mary Shelley, and they both wrote books called The Last Man. And the second word, so last, was your clue. So at this point, we're 2 days in, and we have the last is part of the track down title keyword. And I'm thinking, is the last the title of this book? I'm like, the last what? This can't be the last anything. And so when we got that phrase, I was freaking out, but ended up not being in Rap 20.
I was texting you. You know, I told you that originally when this game started, I started just taking all of the titles and trying to put them through like a random word scrambler to see if I could come up with like some sort of phrase. So I couldn't get it to work. And then we got two of the words. So then I was like, all right, now I'm down to 2 words. Let me try to like figure this out. And so I was texting you the last American option.
Agent,
you know, like
the last American agent.
Yeah.
I was like, who's that?
Random stuff.
The last American war. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, that was one of the ones that came up. So
the last lethal American, like, are we gonna go pussy and like gut the CIA and have no like intelligence service or no clandestine service?
I think eventually you were like, let's just wait. So on day 3, we got, in what book does Mitrap use a bone to pick a lock? And I was so happy that we got this question, because we actually, when we were recording
the rankings,
our rankings episode,
or superlatives,
the superlatives, we totally missed this scene.
Forgot.
I remembered it later on in the pod, but when we were originally talking about best kill, we totally missed this kill, and it's definitely one of the top rap kills of all time, where he kills a dude using a tree stick inside of a cage, and then uses his bone to unlock a lock.
Yeah.
No.
I think it was his fibula or tibula or something.
I feel like it was just God, telling us, yes, this is the best, one of the best kills.
When we got that clue, I was like, thank God last episode, in the middle of recording, you remembered that one, because if we talked about best kill, I think it's the best kill Kyle wrote, but definitely you're right, one of Rap's best kills overall. If we forgot that one in our superlatives of best kill, I would have been so mad at myself. So,
yes,
good save.
Yes.
I like the last clue too.
Yeah, what was the last one? Tell us.
Yeah, I like that because it is another book we covered on the pod. So the question was, in what book does Rap adopt his dog Shirley? And the last word in the title, the third option, was our fourth and final clue. So I love that scene. I remember it vividly, Chris, where Rap he was on the outside because people weren't sure if he turned in Germany and killed the Count, and he was on the run. And he wasn't sure if Kennedy and Stansfield, his bosses, believed him, that he had nothing to do with it, and if they were looking out for him. And so as an insurance policy, he had to corner them. He picked up this dog, is going through the backyard of Stansfield's house, I think in McLean, Virginia, or somewhere up in Northern Virginia. Yeah, I think it's right outside Langley. And he's running through a park with his dog Shirley, and Shirley goes onto the property and distracts the guard.
Right.
So he can take him out and get into Stansfield. Oh, that's when he ties the guy's pants around his ankles with the belt and makes him walk in at gunpoint. Yep. Yeah. And now we have Shirley. So, third option.
Right. So this all leads to the phrase, the last lethal option. And you texted me that.
Yeah. I was upset.
You're like on Twitter way more than I am. So you text me, the phrase is the last lethal option, even before I got to like see the question. And I was like, is that the title? Like,
same. I was like, ooh, it doesn't read right or come off the tongue very nicely.
What is the last lethal option? Like, we already had the third option, and so that is the last, like that.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Yep.
And then you texted me like a little bit later,
Yep.
but wait.
But I was like, boom, right after they posted that fourth clue, underneath it, they had posted, here's a twist. Put in the 4 track down keywords, no spaces, one after the other, add .com, and it will take you to a website. And I was like, what? And you get to the website, it redirects you, and there's a video of Kyle. And there he is.
It was
Kyle's
awesome.
like, congratulations, you made it. And Kyle says, the new Rap 20 title is Enemy at the Gates. And I was like, what? It's not the last Lethal Option? I was losing it. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Let's just say you loved it so much that you made your own little movie poster using the movie poster of Enemy at the Gates, which I actually really enjoy that movie. And you put Kyle and Vince on like replacing who are the actors in the movie?
Jude Law
and
Ed Harris.
Ed
Harris. Yeah, I replaced them, and since the cover is like red and their faces are almost in flame or shadow, I even tinted Vince and Kyle's faces. I did like a red hueish tint to it, a saturation, and so it kind of blended in nicely with my very crude editing skills.
Yeah, so you post that like immediately, and we get a little like a take that down.
Too soon. Yeah, it was too soon.
Let them play the game.
Yeah. But dude, I watched Enemy at the Gates last night. I saw it when it came out, and I probably saw it once or twice since then.
It's always on like
2000.
USA or FX. I've seen it so many times. I like it a lot. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
It was good. It was pretty good. Some of the CG didn't hold up and whatnot. I didn't realize it's 20 years ago now, but a great story, great movie. I don't think the Battle of Stalingrad and Russian snipers have anything to do with this book. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'd imagine
that's
totally unrelated.
So when is this going to be released, though, Mike? That's the more important question.
That's pretty awesome that you didn't just get the title reveal when you finished the game. You also got the release date. So September 12th, 2021. That's right around when Total Power came out, right?
I think it was the same day.
I think it was, yeah. So we're on a fall, September, back to school kick. Couple weeks in, new school year.
I'm going to take off work now. Let me take off work.
Well, have you ever seen what Ryan posts, The Real Book Spy?
Oh, yeah.
He posts these templates. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny. Every time, one of his favorite thrillers is being released, he posts a letter to your boss, a fake template, that so you could take a day off and cozy up with the newest book. Although
that's awesome.
With Total Power, a bunch of people were so ready for the release day, but the pre-orders, I don't know about you, but a bunch of us on social media were posting like 2 days and still hasn't come yet. So we had the ARC, right? The advanced reading copy, but a bunch of people on their pre-orders were waiting 3-4 days for the delivery. Take a week off. Rap week.
Yeah, just
second
week
of September.
Take the whole week. I'm a slow reader, so
September.
I need the whole week. So
National Mitch Rap Week. We should have petitioned Trump to declare that.
he
maybe
would.
Biden.
Maybe. Well, I don't think Mitch Rapp would enjoy the person he put in charge of the CIA.
A
career politician. Anyways,
a little Mark Ross going on there.
A little bit. So listen to this tagline for this book. All right, Rapp hunts a high-level mole who could dismantle democracy. I can't speak tonight.
You're in a car after all. And it's only 30 degrees.
It's 40. It's 45.
Yeah, if you're running the engine to stay warm, that's not good for fossil fuels. You're polluting the environment with that Suburban.
Yeah, this Suburban doesn't do anything for the environment. So, all right, listen to this tagline though. Rapp hunts a high-level mole who could dismantle democracy as we know it. I messed it up again.
That's pretty good. Yeah, dude, come on though. That's a great tagline. Like that's given me everything I wanted in this book ever since Kyle, in interviews and told us on the pod. he wants to turn inwards and focus on the divisions in American society.
Right.
And to put that in like a mole story, I mean, I honestly haven't read too many really good mole infiltrates an intelligence or government agency that wasn't set in the Cold War.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And
think of like,
yeah.
has this been discussed a topic
In other rap books.
other rap books? And I guess the closest thing is The Last Man, right? Where
Joe Rickman kind of turns.
Joe Rickman turns.
Alan? Wait, no, Alan Rickman's the actor.
Yeah, no,
Is
it's
Alan?
Rickman.
Yeah, Alan
It's
Rickman's Snape, right? Yeah. It's Rickman. I think Joe. Yeah.
I guess a little bit in what's the book where we just read it. Was it the third option or the guy who's like third in line of the CIA?
Yeah.
Brown,
Third
John
option.
Brown.
Yep. Who was
But,
supposed to replace Kennedy and then was
right.
pissed that he wasn't picked.
We're supposed to play Stansfield.
Or replace Stansfield, yeah.
But
That's
yeah, we
true.
haven't really like had a true. Those are like just like people who are not moles per se, but I don't know. Yeah,
It wasn't
really,
the big bad. It seems this time the big bad either is the mole or the big bad is running the mole, which I think we haven't had it as that main of a storyline yet.
Right.
So another new thing is the new president. We haven't seen a transition of power, one in a while, right? Because Alexander has been around for 2 terms, right?
Yep.
So 8 years of an Alexander administration. Before that, it was really only Hayes in his 4 years of the administration. And it sounds like we're set up to have a president that we don't know if he's going to be the best thing for America. Like Alexander rap worked in real early. You know, we're reading Act of Treason this month.
His first book.
It already has Rap and Irene, getting in Alexander's good graces before he's sworn in. So I don't know. This new president sounds like he would take a lot of working and massaging if you were going to try to get him on your side. And it sounds like that's unlikely to happen.
Yeah, let me just read you the first part of the plot overview. So it says that Mitrap has worked for a number of presidents over his career, but Anthony Cook is unlike any he's encountered. Cunning, autocratic, he feels no loyalty to America's institutions, and is distrustful of the influence Rapp and the CIA director Irene Kennedy have in Washington. So this is someone who, unlike the previous 2 presidents, right from the gate doesn't want to have like the same sort of relationship, or is very distrustful. I can't speak tonight. It's very distrustful of having a relationship with the CIA, and more specifically with Mitrap and Irene Kennedy. So they're already like doomed from the gates.
Yeah, we've seen characters like that, but they were always, director of national intelligence or State Department, right? Like we've seen the secretaries of state wanting to go against the intelligence because they want diplomacy, and Rapp and Kennedy know that has its drawbacks. Or we've seen Attorney General like Stokes, and we've seen the VP, right? Act of Treason we're reading now. The vice president elect is he wants to gut the CIA. So it's been there, done that. But I don't think we've had a president this against the intelligence community and the institutions. And it seems wider than that too, right? He's autocratic. He has no loyalty to America's institutions. Is that going to include like the branches, like the Congress? Or, I listened to this podcast about the Supreme Court. The thing with the Supreme Court is it's such an effective body, basically because there's universal acceptance of their rulings. No one has questioned or tried to defy a Supreme Court ruling in a serious way, like taking an entire branch of the government and saying, we're going to ignore a ruling. There's loopholes, right? There's retrying cases. The Supreme Court is really the only one over history who can overturn itself in the end. Well, the whole reason that body works is because people just trust it and expect it to, and it's supposed to. What happens when you have other branches of the government undermining that? Undermining the legislative process, undermining the judicial process. That can get messy.
Very messy. And I don't know. I like how Kyle's continuing to he's on a streak, man, of either predicting or totally aligning with our current politics. And he mentioned it a little bit in his interview that it's a little bit of a risk, you know, going down where he's going, but I think it's prime to give us some riveting and really enjoyable reading, you know, because America's crazy right now.
Yeah.
And to adapt it to the Mitrap world, I think it will be great. I don't know. I think it's going to be great.
I think I was surprised. Maybe not Lethal Agent because it was done really well, having Saeed Halabi back, and you know the big bad and ISIS is behind everything. And then Total Power, I was surprised that ISIS came back again. Like the big bad was Power Station, who was only out for himself, really. He was, you know, an egomaniac,
Right.
but he got in bed with ISIS to do his dirty work. And I was kind of like, isn't that a plot that both in the real world is kind of, we're moving on from that being the biggest threat to America? Where are we going to go with this? And again, you're right. Kyle kind of adapted with the times and had the pulse of America and seems to have captured it in this story. I mean, 3 paragraphs here and I'm on the edge of my seat already. You know what? 6 months out, 7 months out.
Right. He even mentioned that if you look at who's the next big, you know, he dealt with Russia.
Threat.
He's dealt with ISIS in the past. Obviously, it was Al Qaeda or the Taliban. Who's the next big villain? And we asked him about China. He said, you know, besides some sort of cyber thing, you know, China really isn't that interesting for, you know, at least a thriller writer. Yeah. But he said the next big thing is internal strife.
Is ourselves.
Our best, you know, what is it? Our worst enemy is ourselves, right? So
yeah. Now get to the title, Enemy at the Gates. Like
it's us.
We're the enemy
we are at
to
the
ourselves.
Gates, and
exactly.
We are the enemy. We are the enemy.
We're on both sides of the gate, right? We choose where the gate is. We choose whom to open it for, and you know who's on the other side. And now, if you're also the enemy at the gates is a whole nother level of scary than someone else just coming to your gate and invading. Well, the gatekeepers are the ones who might. I mean, think of. I hate to go back to it, but January 6th, right? Who are the gatekeepers guarding our democracy in the Capitol building? The same ones evidence points to may have been involved in letting it happen, you know, or, you know, just when we're our own worst enemy, the divisions are so much stronger and worse than they need to be.
Right. Do you think this Anthony Cook character is going to turn out to be the villain? Or, so we have a new president and
we have a mole.
So
what's the connection?
Sorry, let's get to the next paragraph, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
let's finish the plot description. The last 2 paragraphs of it.
All right. So when Kennedy discovers evidence of a mole scouring the agency's database for sensitive information on Nicholas Ward, new guy, the world's first trillionaire. When I read this, I immediately thought of either like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. I'm like,
yep.
All right, is he gonna? Who of these two is he gonna try to emulate?
Yep.
So they're scouring information on Nicholas Ward. She convinces Rapp to take a job protecting him. Now, this is very interesting because this harkens back to Lethal Agent, where he took a job being a security guard or
personal protection for some celebrity.
Yeah, that's interesting that Kyle is continuing with that. And so in doing so, he finds himself walking an impossible tightrope. Keep the man alive, but also use him as bait to uncover a traitor who has seemingly unlimited access to government secrets.
You know, so since you brought that up, in Lethal Agent, Mitch took the job through Scott's company.
Yes.
Scott hired him. So Scott is already in the business of personal protection. Yes. You know, big contracts there. And Kyle told us last month, Scott plays a bigger role. He and Mitch work together real closely on this. So somehow this Nicholas Ward guy, this trillionaire, somebody's searching him up in the CIA databases. Mitch and Scott, I think, are going to team up to have to play the George Smiley role. I just reread Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Nice.
You know, the best possible story about a mole, embedded at high levels of an agency in MI6, the circus. So I'm like, that book is standing out to me because I love it. And I'm like, wow, can we get a Mitch Rapp version of that? That also involves Scott Coleman, helping him protect this guy Ward while also trying to lure the traitor to uncover themselves, because Rapp is closest to Ward. So anything this mole is doing to search for Ward would cross Rapp's path. And then I can't help but think Marcus Dumond, if we're talking a mole, Marcus has got to be pulling his...
He's got to play a big role.
Exactly.
Got to play a big role.
Yeah, so I'll just read the last paragraph of the description. As the attacks on Ward become increasingly dire, Rapp and Kennedy are dragged into a world where the lines between governments, multinational corporations, and the hyper-wealthy fade. An environment in which liberty, nationality, and loyalty are meaningless. Only the pursuit of power remains. Do you sense some like military industrial complex going on there? Something about big business and this trillionaire Ward subverting or undermining the authority of governments or corrupting it because they're too much in bed together? Or
yeah, that was the first thing that came to my mind when I read those sentences. This idea of where liberty, nationality, and loyalty are meaningless, only the pursuit of power. And like all the government corporations and the wealthy come together. I first thought of defense, but I guess it could be like any sort of like fundraising or, like, I don't know.
Could be big data.
It could be big data. Yeah.
It could be these, like, what is it? These 5 companies that have more data than any government or international agency, like, on every citizen. And it's like the NSA struggles to do that and get approval to do it, but these guys, Facebook can listen in anytime they want, or Google's got anything they want.
It could be like, yeah, because right now there's this whole heated debate against the big 5 or the big 3, whatever.
Yep.
Of Google, Facebook, Amazon.
You
Twitter.
Remember that shooting? I think it was the Chattanooga one where the FBI had the iPhone, and it was like the FBI
and
was
Apple
pouring. Yeah, they were pouring tons of resources in to try to unlock the phone to see this guy's contacts.
Apple could have immediately unlocked it.
And Apple could have done it, but they were saying like, "Oh no, we don't have the ability to go in to unlock people's phones and see their data."
They could have.
But then right when they were feeling the heat from the FBI, it was like, "Oh, actually, we do have this back door where we could do that." Like, is something shady going on with big corporations like this guy Nicholas Ward is involved in? And then how does that relate to the mole?
Yeah.
And how does that relate to this president, Anthony Cook, who sounds like a dick, to be honest, to be frank?
Yeah. Right off the bat, I know I'm not going to like this president. I just feel it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So that means we didn't like the one president.
Stevens. Term limits guy.
No. She died. She was running for president.
Oh, the candidate.
Yes.
The lethal agent candidate. We just talked about her.
Burnett?
Christine Barnett.
Christine
Barnett.
There we go.
Great character, by the way, but yeah, would not have liked her as president.
Right. Yeah. No, I liked the character was nice, but would not have liked her as a president. So do you think she's from the same party, the opposing party? Kyle doesn't like to like do parties. He likes to like sort of toe the line between...
Well, Total Power, I think he might have told us or hinted at what party it was, but Total Power, he did say there was bipartisanship against this guy. He was an unknown quantity that neither mainstream, body politic liked. So he is an outsider regardless of party. He's an unwanted, unknown and undesirable quantity either way, whether he's left, right, whatever. He seems more of just like an outside the spectrum, just doesn't. He's like
maybe like a multimedia, real estate guy from New York.
Oh yeah, what do you think his background is?
Do you think he's supposed to be like a Donald Trump?
Well, no, because Nicholas Ward is the businessman. He's the world's first trillionaire. So I think he's going to play that role of like business and politics and buying your way to power. So Anthony Cook must be something different. a different persona.
Yeah, it'll be both Kyle and Vince have done a good job in their stories of giving us background on most of their characters. So I'll be interested to learn Anthony Cook's background and Nicholas Ward's background.
Not being liked, he's definitely not a celebrity. So he's also not a Trumpian in the fact that he's not bringing celebrity status to the White House. People don't like him or know him.
If bipartisan doesn't like him, then yeah, that's interesting.
And well, here's another layer: is Kyle. He was proud of himself that after Lethal Agent, he got equal amounts of hate mail from both sides.
He did.
Christine Barnett is too much like Hillary. Christine Barnett is too much like Trump. You're saying she's bad because she's like Trump. No, you're saying she's bad because she's like Hillary. I wonder if here he would self-reflect and say, I think this Anthony Cook character also is not too similar to our current political situation, but similar
like
enough to draw parallels. Yeah, exactly, but not one-to-ones where you vilify one side or the other.
He mentioned that that's what he was trying to do. He was
exactly
intentionally not trying to showcase one side, but try to have aspects of both, so that way literally you didn't know, because he doesn't say what party she is. You didn't know. I mean, if you go back historically,
you could probably figure it out.
Well, that's what's interesting. I don't think Kyle likes to do parties, whereas Vince did, and Vince had Alexander be a Democrat. So that's just what it was. Yeah. But I think now, as Kyle has, because Kyle had mentioned he's done some things differently. He said he doesn't age or move time forward as fast as Vince does. So he does some different things. But yeah, I thought that was a great idea to have this character where you didn't, I mentioned this before in the pod, where both sides could get angry at it, because
exactly.
To my mind, that's a perfect character. That's the perfect.
I think he did it again here. I think,
Let's
this see. Anthony Cook.
I'm excited to see this Anthony Cook guy.
I am too. Yeah, this is a great description in 3 paragraphs. Hats off to Kyle. You said you wanted to focus on the internal divisions of America, and this description that we got last week is absolutely hitting that nail on the head. So I'm ready. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, if you want to tweet at us or reach out on social media your thoughts on the book, your thoughts on this description, we'd love to hear about it, and tell us what you're most looking forward to at Enemy at the Gates. Rap 20 coming September 2021. That was fun.
Yes.
I think we're probably going to have to do another one of these, no? Like, we have I would imagine the cover coming out in the next couple of weeks. Usually that's around late February, March, we get those. And then closer to publication date, we'll probably hear about the Mitrap Ambassador program being resurrected and revived. So I think we're going to have to probably reserve a bonus pod like this for continual updates, like we did Road to Total Power last year. Maybe we do.
This is our extended
good one.
Yeah, extended road, the long road to Rap 20.
The path to Enemy at the Gates.
There you go. It's crazy that both Rap and Harvath are 20 this year.
I know. Black Ice is Harvath 20 and Enemy at the Gates is Rap 20. So it was a little unfair. I posted a poll. You know what? I did it. It was a little edgy, but I said, what are you most looking forward to in Thriller 2021? And I put it between Harvath 20 or Rap 20. And of course, our fans are a little biased. We are the Mitch Rap podcast. So I think we had like 82% vote for Rap 20 and an 18% vote for Harvath. But equally excited for both. I think that's because we have a biased fan base, a little on the pro rap side.
I think so.
Yeah. I said I did put hashtag no hard feelings.
But just so you know, we love you Brad Thor fans too. So look out for season 2.
Indeed. We are toying with getting the Brad Thor train going when we're done with this one. So we'll preview there.
All right. So next week with the pod, we're finally going to be getting to Act of Treason. I promise you, part 1.
Yes.
We keep pushing it back because this, we want to talk about this news in the moment. But
The path to enemy at the gates.
yes, but we're going to be talking to you about Active Treason Part 1 next week for sure. As always, we need to thank our patrons, our special operator Sherry F, our special agent George, Matt, Dawn, Dennis, Peggy, Catherine, Ray, Bridget, and Jeff. Can't say this enough, but please subscribe, rate, and review us anywhere where a podcast platform allows rate and reviewing, particularly Apple. 5 stars, 5 stars. You can find us online at mitrappod.com or using our Twitter or Instagram handle at mitrappod. And as always, just let Mitch be Mitch. Just a disclaimer, this podcast is not affiliated with Vince Flynn, Kyle Mills, or Simon & Schuster, but thank you to them for bringing us the wonderful world of rap. And the music soundtrack is Guerrilla Tactics by Raphael Crooks.